In China, a bottle of rich aromatic soy sauce is often the soul of many home-cooked dishes. However, a recent report about Qianhe condiment and food has shaken consumers' trust in the long-established giants of the industry. On March 18th, Consumer Reports magazine's official Weibo account published a test report showing that of 13 soy sauces claiming zero additives sent for testing by a third party, 12 were found to contain cadmium and 7 contained arsenic. Only one did not contain these two heavy metals. Among them, Qianhe 380-day soy sauce was detected with cadmium levels of 0.0110 milligrams per kilogram, ranking 4th among the 13 tested soy sauces. Cadmium is a non-essential and toxic element for the human body, potentially carcinogenic and mutagenic. Arsenic is widely found in nature and is commonly used in pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. As a result, by March 21st, Qianhe's stock price dropped for 4 consecutive days, with a cumulative decline of 7.3%, and its market value decreased by 950 million yuan. Many consumers quickly criticized the brand, noting that the prominent Qianhe Zero on the soy sauce bottle clearly implies zero additives. If it's zero additives, why are carcinogens found? After learning about the results, some consumers start to boycott the brand.
This is so misleading. I've been eating it for so long. I'm not eating it anymore. I'll switch to another brand. I still have some left, but I'm throwing it all away.
I specifically bought Qianhe because we have kids at home. I didn't buy other brands like Chubang or Haotian. Now I'm throwing it away. I've been using it for so long, and it turns out it's a Qianhe Zero trademark. I'm throwing it out. It's honestly hard to protect yourself from these things. However, follow-up reports reveal that Qianhe Zero does not actually refer to zero additives or zero pollution, but is a registered trademark. According to data from Tianyang 12 trademarks for Qianhe Zero have been applied for, with 8 already registered and 2 under rejection review. Dahe Daily, reporters found that many of the registered Qianhe Zero trademarks have modified font designs, with some adding Qianhe Zero Plus. On the night of March 20th, Qianhe issued a statement clarifying the Qianhe 380-day soy sauce mentioned in media reports contains no food additives or other chemicals. The company explained that cadmium naturally exists in water, soil, and agricultural products, and the trace amounts detected in soy sauce come from raw materials. It added that cadmium levels in the primary soy sauce ingredients comply with standard regulations. Regarding the zero additives label, the company acknowledged a failure in consumer communication which led to misunderstandings and expressed its sincere apologies. This response, however, only sparks further anger among the public. A couple of years ago, I saw the big zero on the product in the supermarket, and it said zero additives, so I've been using it for the past 2 years. Look, this gray stuff on top is what I haven't finished using yet. The production date is May 2023. On the supermarket shelf, the zero stood out so much, I thought it meant zero additives. But after seeing the media reports these past few days, I took a closer look, and it turns out that Qianhe Zero is just a registered trademark. Qianhe Zero with a little r under it, meaning it's a registered trademark. I really have to admire these companies. Instead of focusing on product quality, they're playing word games. I saw a lawyer online say that registering it this way isn't illegal, but when you promote zero additives and then register Qianhe Zero, you're misleading consumers. And it's really misleading. I asked a few friends around me, and many of them bought it because of that zero. It's really scary. Additionally, according to the company's 2024 semi-annual report, it allocated 85 million yuan to promotions and advertising, a figure that shocked many consumers. Some point out that this issue is not limited to Qianhe soy sauce alone, but is common across many companies in China where such practices are widespread. You really have to admit, Qianhe Weiyi has taken wordplay to the extreme. Qianhe Zero-Additive soy sauce has no connection to zero additives, but they managed to make it seem like that with the trademark, misleading consumers into thinking it's zero additives. I'm really curious, though, How did such a zero-additives trademark even get approved? In just 6 months, the promotional expenses reached 85 million yuan. I bet no other country would allow a company to market like this. You buy an ad product, and 60% of it is just the ad cost. For something that costs 180 yuan, the actual material could be worth less than 10 yuan. It's all about the advertising, all about promotion. If you have that kind of advertising budget, can you make a better product instead? No other country in the world does this except China. That Zero-Additives trademark, or Nongfu Springs, a little sweet, that's because they added sugar. You can't argue with that. Basically, they'll say anything in ads because in China, there's no tax on bragging. Try doing that anywhere else, especially when it comes to people's everyday issues like food and drinks. If they find you for lying, you'd go bankrupt and close down. But in China, you can just keep lying. What surprises and concerns many is that Qianhe Zero had already gained a favorable reputation. With slogans like no preservatives, no MSG, and zero additives, the brand attracts health-conscious consumers who favor natural diets. Many even describe Qianhe Zero as a refreshing change. For those accustomed to traditional brands like Hao Tian and Li Kun Qi, Zero Additives offers a new choice, and even though it's priced slightly higher, many are willing to try it.
人家这品牌名字叫
Think about it. What does it mean for Qianhe to register this trademark? Isn't it just to confuse people? How many people have bought it just because of the Qianhe Zero trademark? What's the difference between that and those knockoff brands? Second, as a listed company, Qianhe has a PR team. They have people monitoring public opinion. Don't they know that many consumers think it means Qianhe Zero Additives? They've never clarified it, right? They've just let everyone assume it. Don't you think we should boycott such behavior? Third, I bought this soy sauce for my child. We used to use children's soy sauce. It was after the 315 event last year that I heard about Qianhe Zero Additives. So I switched to Qianhe soy sauce. And what did I get? A trademark. Experts have pointed out that both cadmium and arsenic naturally exist in soil and water. However, the issue isn't that detecting these substances means a violation of the law, but rather that the way companies present their products has led to a misunderstanding among consumers. The focus of public concern has shifted from whether the carcinogens exceed safe limits to the authenticity of the marketing and the integrity of the companies. In recent years, amid fierce market competition and growing consumer demand for healthy food, many food businesses have resorted to word games. They use creative or even ambiguous language in an attempt to capture consumer attention. The wordplay behind Qianhe Zero is nothing compared to those other trademarks. Let me show you a few examples. On yogurt, everything else is gone is actually a trademark. On number 1 native pork, number 1 native is a trademark. For free-range eggs labeled from the mountains, the trademark from the mountains, and just because it says zero cane sugar doesn't mean no other sugars were added. Not fried only means it wasn't deep fried. They could still mix in oil afterward. Wordplay has become widespread due to the lack of clear information. While regulators have established standards and testing methods, they often lack the tools to address vague marketing and packaging. As a result, some companies manage to get away with misleading advertising tactics. Commentators on the incident suggest that this issue is not just about one bottle of soy sauce or one brand. It highlights the blind spots and risks in food safety, market regulation, and consumer perception. To truly understand the problem, we must look at China's food safety regulatory system, an issue that has been widely discussed. Some dishonest businesses are even more deceptive than Qianhe soy sauce.
兄弟们终于破案了
Brothers, we've cracked the case. Didn't I tell you about those sausages that cost around 4 yuan per kilogram at the factory? These sausages can be stored at room temperature in the kitchen, and they say they won't spoil even after 3 years. And even rats, flies, and cockroaches won't go near them. Seriously, in the summer, flies avoid them, and at night, even if the rats are starving, they won't touch them. I've been really curious about the ingredients in these things until yesterday when I saw a video that made everything clear.
原来有无良商家一直使用
It turns out some dishonest sellers have been spraying these sausages, hams, and cured products with a highly toxic pesticide called DDW. This explains a lot. The low-priced sausages and cured meats I used to buy in the kitchen wouldn't even be touched by insects. Occasionally, a fly would land on them, it would die instantly. So you can see how ruthless these vendors are. They really have no limits. And these shadowy vendors don't just spray DD Whey to keep flies and rats away. The pork they use is also of questionable quality. So when buying sausages or cured meats, make sure they come from legitimate factories with product inspection reports. Avoid buying those unbranded products as much as possible. Recently, the Supreme People's Court and the Supreme People's Procuratorate of China jointly released a series of typical cases involving crimes that harm food safety. One such case involved a vendor, Mr. Peng, who, while processing cured meats like sausages, ham, and pig's feet, used a diluted version of DD Whey, a highly toxic pesticide, to spray on the meats to prevent insect bites and maggots. Everyone in China knows that DD Whey is a highly toxic pesticide, yet it was directly sprayed onto the ham, sparking outrage. This isn't food preservation, it's literally poisoning the product. After trial, the local court found that Mr. Peng's actions constituted the production and sale of toxic and harmful food. He was sentenced to 2 years and 4 months in prison, along with a fine of 220,000 yuan. Many consumers expressed dissatisfaction with the punishment, questioning why the sentence was only 2 years. They argued that the harsher sentences, such as 20 years or more, could prevent such incidents from happening. On March 18, a customer at a spicy hot pot restaurant in Suzhou recorded a disturbing scene. A mouse was seen eating a meat skewer on a conveyor belt, completely unfazed by the surroundings, suggesting that this may have been a regular occurrence. Food safety is inherently a complex system where every step from raw material sourcing to production could have hidden risks. The information consumers receive is typically marketing material, while the detailed data and test reports related to food safety are often difficult to obtain. It is undeniable that the Chinese government has emphasized food safety on the surface and has implemented laws and regulations to ensure the accountability of various departments. However, the practical reality shows that these regulations are often superficial or compromised by vested interests. Some local officials prioritizing GDP growth often delay regulation when it may cause economic losses. Sometimes a symbolic relationship forms between businesses and regulatory bodies. Companies receive relaxed approvals and tacit support in the market, while government departments enjoy the political benefits of associating with well-known brands. This informal rule is common in traditional manufacturing and the food industry. In fact, according to a December 23, 2024 report from Chinese state media, at the National Market Regulatory Meeting, it was stated that China's 3 guarantees, food, medicine, and key industrial products, as well as special equipment, were overall stable. The food safety inspection pass rate was 99.2%, with an improvement in the compliance rate for categories like poultry, seafood, and vegetables. The pass rate for pharmaceutical products remained above 99%, and food and drug products passed with a rate of over 99%. Regarding the 99.2% pass rate for food safety inspections, economist Li Hongchen, based in the US, commented, "This means only 0.8% of the sample results failed. It's hard for the Chinese public to believe this." He explained the reason the authorities released this data is because the Chinese Communist Party does not consider the public as individuals, but as consumers. If people stop consuming, then GDP growth will stagnate. This is unacceptable to the Chinese government, which cannot allow this situation. So they find a way to reassure the public that food is safe, encouraging them to keep consuming. As a result, many question how much the public truly knows under the CCP-controlled media environment. How many consumers are actually able to use their money to purchase real healthy products? Sadly, when people need to raise their voices, they often find that much of the space for expression has already been consumed by various levels of censorship and restrictions. When consumers encounter problematic products, they frequently find that their own online complaints or requests for help are ignored. Bureaucratic procedures often make it nearly impossible to defend their rights. Some have raised doubts about the CCP's disregard for public concerns. One comment read, "I have a suspicion everyone online is calling for action on food safety issues, but why is no one stepping up to address them? Are our voices really not being heard? Why is this happening?" Others have analyzed why food safety cannot be fully addressed. One commenter wrote, "If they wanted to solve it, it wouldn't be difficult at all. The key issue is that they don't actually want to solve it. If food safety problems were resolved, you'd no longer see streets with dozens of pharmacies or hospitals crowded like shopping malls. At that point, pharmaceutical companies and hospitals would close in large numbers. Why? Because it's a business involving 1.4 billion people, and the profits are too great. It's impossible for this problem to be completely solved." According to Li Hongqing, the internal competition in Chinese society has led to the people being caught up in it as well. The entire society is sick, and as a result, no one has any boundaries. Who is responsible for this? The government. It's been in power for over 70 years, yet the basic systemic issues have never been addressed. From the central government to local authorities, they have created this state of internal competition and the underlying issue of food safety. Experts also point out that no one can predict whether the next scandal will involve another well-known brand or if even more serious food safety issues will continue to be uncovered. However, if we ignore the existing systemic problems and regulatory flaws or are satisfied with occasional public outcry, the issue will remain unresolved. Only through greater institutional reform and a more open public discourse can supervision and transparency become the norm, rather than fleeting news moments.